Well, as you know, here at Subculture, we love to get out and about, and Lee and I headed off to the Royal Melbourne Show this week, and I thought I'd just touch base and let everybody know what the show is like this year, because there's some new things at the show this year. First of all, one of the things that you will notice is that the animal nursery is no longer in the building that it's been in now for about, I would say, probably at least 10 years. It's moved into the section where, I don't know if you're a regular show goer, you will know that different companies go to sell products. So it's moved into there. And to be honest, I don't think that the animal nursery is as good as what it's been other years, because it's pretty much this year, it's just you go in and straight away you're in with the animals, patting animals, but to me, there wasn't a wide variety of animals this year. There's a lot of goats. If you're a goat lover, you are going to love the animal nursery this year, because there are a ton of goats. Now, while I think the animal nursery was a little bit down of what it's been in the past, I have to say that the reason that the animal nursery has moved is a great reason. That is because that traditional shed is actually being used this time around with a prehistoric display that has everything from the taxidermied bodies of different species that have been discovered over the years, through to fossils, through to these brilliant animatronics, dinosaurs. And I have to say that dinosaurs are out of this world. Not so sure about the Jurassic animals outside. Some of them look a little bit strange, and I don't think they look the way that they would have in real life. So there's a few questions about the ones outside, but the dinosaurs inside were absolutely amazing. Now, just touching base with the animals that are normally in the petting zoo. Now, of course, you'll know when you normally go to the animal nursery, there used to be the animals that you could pat and feed in the middle, and then around the edges there would be things like deers and kind of animals that you don't get to see all the time. Even if you have grown up in Australia on a farm, there'll be different animals there that show the different kind of animals that we farm in Australia. Now, those animals are kind of like being put into other areas where you may not expect to find them. So if you are somebody who goes to the show to look at animals, I would suggest that you look around the entire show, because they seem to be dispersed everywhere this year. So the pavilion that used to be the show bag pavilion this year has got companies in there that have got stuff for sale. There's also a couple of government style kind of businesses in there as well, government departments with displays, including a hands-on kind of vegetable and herbs thing for kids. Some of the animals are in there, so you will see a miniature horse in there, you will see a donkey in there, some llamas and things like that. So just letting you know that they're in there. Also in the cattle pavilion, where there's also sheep, so I probably should just say livestock pavilion, they've also got some of the more exotic kind of animals in there as well. So there's, I think there's some llamas in there. There was also some pygmy goats, who were some of the highlights of the animals for me this year. They're in that pavilion as well, the cattle pavilion, the pavilion that if you go to Comic Con or Supernova out at the showgrounds, where they would normally have most of the displays there. So if you are going there to look for animals, have a good look around this year, because they're kind of all over the place. There's also shearing exhibitions, working dog displays. They're also in a different shed again. And then, of course, you've got the dogs on display as well in their traditional shed, and the poultry are in their shed as well. So there's lots of different things that you can do there. If you're a dog owner like myself, there are some great bargains to pick up. I grabbed some stuff for Marvel at the show this year, including a show bag for her, so she was pretty happy with that. Now that brings me around to the show bags, and I've got to say I was a little bit disappointed with the value of the show bags this year. There was a few kind of confectionery bags that I was looking at where I was like, okay, so you're wanting me to pay $15 for 5 bags of lollies when I know I can buy those lollies for about $2.50 a packet in Coles. So be very, very careful with your show bags this year, because I don't think the value is there with the show bags. But as usual, I did find that if you walk around the show bag section, you will find some little bargains with some of the fluffy toys and stuff that are there. In fact, I bought a couple of little things that I wanted and ended up getting them cheaper than what they were actually marked for up on the wall. Now, the pavilion that over the recent years has been used for craft and woodworking and stuff like that, that is now a government pavilion. So you have things like the police, the fire, the SES with displays in there. Have a look in the middle if you're a pop culture fan like me, because there are a couple of stalls put into there that don't really fit the rest of them. And I picked up some very cheap pop vinyls at one of the stalls in there. So if you go into the show, look for that as well, because there seems to be a couple of things this year that you'll walk into a shed or a pavilion and you think you know what's going to be in there, and then there'll be something completely different in there. So make sure you do have a little bit of a look around. Now, the outdoor entertainment, don't get caught like Lee and I did. We got there on a day when all that was happening on the main stage, well, I shouldn't say all, because there was a few things on during the day, but it was mainly for kids. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Peppa the Pig shows, and stuff like that. But the nighttime entertainment was the motorbikes, which I feel are lacking now that they're not out on the main arena, now that they're kind of more in towards the crowd. But it was just a DJ playing on the night that we went. Unfortunately, the night before, we could have seen Eskimo Joe. And I think Shepherd were playing the night before that. So have a look at the day that you're going before you pick which day you're going, and work out which entertainment you want to see, because I would have loved to have seen Eskimo Joe or Shepherd. Unfortunately, I went on a day when there was just a DJ, so I didn't even stay for the entire set. The other thing that I think is really good value this year is the Australian Victorian Gourmet Pavilion. Has got some absolutely amazing stuff in there this year. I fell in love with the cider that I tried in there. So definitely I might be talking about that on air very, very soon. But really, really loved some of the stuff that I found in there this year. I bought my licorice that I've been buying for a few years now. Lee was loving tasting some of the gin and stuff like that was in there. Seriously, I could have spent half a day in there just trying the different stuff that they had. Of all the stuff that I bought at the show this year, I bought most of the stuff from the Gourmet Pavilion, because there was so much stuff that I wanted to try that I tried and then bought, because I really did love it. So look, the show's has gone back to basics a little bit. I feel there's more of an emphasis this year on the rides, the animals, the gourmet kind of stuff, which I think is a positive move. Like I said, you do have to look a little bit harder this year. If you go into the show and you go to walk past the shed, I would recommend going in and having a look to see what's in there, because what you see near the front door might not be the only things that's in there. So yeah, if you go to the show, make sure you take an entire day this year so you can explore it thoroughly, because there are a lot of hidden gems at the show. So do that. And my other advice is make sure that you go on a day when the nighttime entertainment is something you want to see, because you can get caught out like I did. But look, I still love the show. I think I've loved the show since I was a kid. I will love the show when I'm 100 if I live to that age. So go along, check it out. It has gone back to basics, and I think that is a good thing.